courthouse where time stood still. Generations pass on the hill. Prosecutors come and go. Defense attorneys putting on a show. Old district attorney thought she was tight. Came in to visit her tonight. They said justice was blinded by her sins. As the trial spun, no one wins. Endless trial like a river flows. Truth and lies, nobody knows. Corruption's grip tight as a vice. In this endless trial we pay the price.
Hello, folks. Yeah. What's going on in the courtroom as we speak is something. Yeah. Now we will learn what the ex parte meeting was for. The way, yeah, I'm appalled of what's going on the witness stand at this moment. And I'm furious. This tells me the length this prosecution and this judge is prepared to go to get a conviction. They had an ex parte meeting, which they tried to hide from the defense under the cover of being a civil contempt. All of a sudden, now, apparently, Mr. Woody, knowing he is immune to perjury, is granted immunity for crimes. We know that through the affidavit from Mr. Weinstein. And it's infuriating. Could the Georgia Supreme Court simply shut down the trial altogether and force a retrial? Well, they have the power to do that, and they also have power to call it a mistrial with prejudice, which means everybody walks. But yeah, let's dive right into it. Dun, dun, dun. There. All right, let's listen to the affair.
Where did you all go?
I blinked out after that.
You blanked out after that. Why did you blank out?
Because they were saying that I got phone calls saying that I did something.
Do you remember who called you?
Yeah.
Who?
Monton.
And do you recall how he called you? Did he call you on FaceTime? Did he call you on the phone?
I just know he asked me what I got going on.
This is the warm-up for what's coming next in a few minutes. And this is the prosecution talking about getting Woody to tell, what was going on that day. And what comes out of his mouth.
If I heard what happened,
starting to come out of his mouth.
I don't know what he said. I just know he said it.
5 to 7 minutes
he was saying I killed nothing. And he was calling.
Now let me ask you this. Did you kill that? Did you tell that?
Hey, Dolly.
Nope.
Now, when Moulton called you, was both Shannon and Little D in the car when Moulton called you?
Huh?
Was Shannon and Little D in the car when Moulton called you?
I think so.
Now, before Moulton called you, did you, Shannon and Little D, have any conversations about Nut being killed?
Nope.
Now, after you got off the phone with Moulton, did you, Shannon and Little D, go anywhere?
Huh?
You said you were on the phone with Moulton in the car?
I blinked out like,
In the light of what is going to be said in a few minutes, remember, Miss Hilton offered him immunity from perjury. Remember that.
I know I end up in a whole lot of places. Every time I looked around, I was somewhere different.
Later that evening, did you, as we talked earlier, go to the police department?
Nope.
The night that you learned about Nut's death, and Moulton called you, at some point, did you ever go to the police department?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, you say ask and answer?
Correct.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
On the morning of January 11th, did you ever speak with police?
Yeah, same question.
Overrule, sir.
Say that again.
On the morning of January 11th, did you ever speak with police about Nut being killed?
Yeah, the police called me.
And did you go to the police department?
Same objection.
Overrule, sir.
They called you, did you go to the police department, speak to the police?
Yeah, I think.
How did you get to the police department?
I got dropped off.
By who?
I think Moulton dropped me off. I ain't for sure. I can't recall.
You can't recall.
But I think that's who dropped me off here. I just remember my brother and them.
I assume this is why court was late today, or later, because when cameras was on, everybody was there. I assume this was them disclosing we had a meeting, because all of a sudden, Mr. Copeland doesn't have a lawyer, remember? So they were in there. Don't know if the judge was there, or if it was just a meeting with the prosecutors. I'm appalled. The day after the ex parte meeting, all of a sudden, Mr. Copeland has a story to tell.
Down there. I think that night.
Now, Mr. Copeland, today being June 13, 2024, prior to today, had you ever, I want to make sure I understand, told police that Little D and Shannon got into your vehicle?
Objection to leading.
I'll sustain the objection.
Is today the first time that you told police or to anyone?
Which day?
Today, June 13th.
Okay.
It's your gunshot day. Yesterday, did you tell me and my colleagues that Shannon and Little?
Leading.
Brian, this is
I'm gonna overrule the objection.
yesterday, did you tell myself and my colleagues, Ms. Love and others, about Little D and Shannon being in your vehicle the night of the murder?
Huh?
Yesterday, did you tell myself, Ms. Love, and a few of my other colleagues that Little D and Shannon were in the car with you the night of the murder of Donnie Thomas?
I told you and them that what I told investigators in June, when Nut got killed, something different, because I was trying to finesse my way out of a situation. So I said, I picked up D and Shannon. D never told me nothing. I made it up to clear myself up. And that's it.
And was that yesterday that you said that? Did you tell us that yesterday, what you just said?
You asked me to be truthful. And I didn't, and I told you what I told the investigator back then, wasn't me being truthful. So I'm telling you something that I didn't tell them because I ain't trying to go back to jail.
I got it. That actually was yesterday. The first time you said this part, and now what you're saying today is what is truthful. What you're saying right now, what you're trying to tell the jury right now, is what you are now saying is truthful.
What I'm trying to tell you is our conversation was about something that I said in the past.
I understand. I'm asking you.
that Mr. Copeland allowed to finish his.
Okay, all right.
I thought you was up.
Mr. Copeland, you need to finish your answer?
No,
sir?
I need a break, Your Honor.
Say again?
I need a break.
You need your restroom?
No, I need a break. Like, I need a break.
Sir, it's not time for us to take a break at this point in
Well,
time.
okay.
Okay? I mean, unless you need to go to the bathroom or some other reason, we're not gonna break at this point in time.
Yeah, judge already know what's coming, and he wants it over with because I don't know. Because he's a spineless coward and in the complete pocket of the prosecution.
Was yesterday the first time that you told,
Your Honor, I asked Mr. Copeland to finish his answer if he was still.
I don't think he's finished. I think he's finished, Mr. Steele. So I'll overrule that objection.
was yesterday the first time that you told anyone from the state that what you said back in January of 2015 was a lie? And that you were trying to finesse your way out of what you told them back in January 2015?
I told that to the investigators when they was questioning me at a certain point.
What investigators?
Y'all questioned me so many times, I don't know.
Back in 2015, did you go to the police again on January 11, 2015?
I'll sustain the objection.
Did you also go to the police on January 28, 2015?
I don't know no dates, but if you know that if I went to the, you could just see it.
Did you also go and speak with the police on February 20th, 2015?
If that's what it say.
And what about on February 21st, 2015?
If that's what it say.
And then what about on June 10th, 2015?
If that's what it say.
Let me ask you this. In your interview on January 11th, 2015, do you recall your girlfriend's mother's home being shot up?
Was it?
Do you recall it?
Also, in the light of this, remember, the case against Stilwell and the rest for this has been over and done with, discharged twice. But all of a sudden, after first a secret meeting with the judge and the prosecution, where they coerced him and threatened him and colluded together to get him to testify, all of a sudden they have a new meeting. Once he's out of a lawyer. Here's the thing. I do believe that his lawyer, who was here on Friday, is his actual lawyer. Which means they had a meeting with Mr. Copeland without his lawyer present. Hey, Diogo.
Our mother's home being shot up that night after that was killed.
I don't know if it was the same night or the next night.
Do you
Hey, Metalcore.
also
Good
recall
to have you
that
here.
the stepbaby's house was shot up that same evening?
Oh, I'm not at work.
Basis.
Let the
Basis.
air out.
I'll sustain as the form. You can rephrase me.
Was young blood stepbaby's house shot up the night that?
I don't know.
When you went to the police station on January 11, 2015, did you go there on your own?
Nope.
Did the police come and get you to go to the police station, or did someone drop you off? No, sir.
They,
I'm gonna overrule the objection.
Did you voluntarily go down to the police station that night?
no, I didn't volunteer. He called me.
And did he tell you you had to come down there, or did you decide to go down there yourself?
Well, he told me to come down there, and people told me to go down there because
Is there an objection, sir? And just state what it is. Okay, let me see if he's finished his response. Mr. Copeland, you finished? Or do you need to say something else to complete that last question you were asked?
yeah, I'm just gonna say that I was told to go down there and speak with the police.
Okay, all right.
Do you recall in 2015 telling law enforcement officers that you were calling to get advice on whether or not you should go down and speak to the police because your name was coming up in the murder?
Can you say the first part again?
Sure. Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe in his January 11, 2015 interview that you were calling around getting advice to decide whether or not you should come down to the police department because people were putting your name in the murder?
I don't know. I know when he called me, didn't know what to do, so that's why I was told to go down there.
Do you- Are we finished?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe in that same January 11, 2015 interview that people told you not to go down there and to wait till the police called you? But you wanted to come down so you could clear your name?
You said, did I tell him that?
Yes.
I guess.
No spoilers in chat, please.
In
We
that
will
January
get
11,
there.
2015
We are
interview, was Thug in that interview with you?
12 minutes behind.
Huh?
We will get there.
When you went to go speak with Detective Thorpe on January 11, 2015, was Thug in that interview with you?
What you,
Basis.
The higher courts
Okay.
now have all
Mr.
the
Copeland,
appeals
can you
needed
step
to
outside for a
get
second?
Mr. Judge
Ladies and gentlemen, jury, can I
Glanville
get you to
off
step
the
in your headquarters just for a minute, please?
stand. Okay, now what? Here's the thing. I don't care about what Mr. Copeland testifies to because we know he has immunity towards perjury. He can say whatever he wants on the stand. And Miss Love here in Bad Hulk Green offered him immunity even for perjury. We know that now. So
All right,
nothing
counsel,
he
please be
says on the
seated.
stand.
Our jury has left us and Mr. Copeland has left us. Mr. Steele, what's your motion, sir? Can you come to the podium, please, sir?
My motion is that there is a 24-4-403 comment on pre-arrest silence under ORR versus state. I believe it's a 2019 case, but I'll get you the site if it's not. If you put in OR and Mallory.
I'm familiar, Laura. I'll look it up.
And Mallory's Mallory. What the state did is they set up a series of questions, repeating the question that Mr. Copeland gets a call from a Detective Thorpe on January 11, 2015, morning hours, telling him, according to Mr. Copeland, that he needs to come down to the police department. Mr. Copeland is reaching out to people allegedly saying whether I come or not. He spoke with people who said, go down to the police department. The state then, for some reason, immediately says, well, did Jeffrey Williams come? That's after the state elicits, it's non-answered because the witness said he doesn't know that Jeffrey Williams' stepfather's house is supposedly shot up that night. When you put that together, it is a clear indication that Jeffrey Williams should have, if he's involved, since his stepfather's house is being shot up, then he's being accused and he should go down to the police and talk to them as well. There's no basis for that. The state knows that Jeffrey Williams wasn't called by the police, wasn't asked to come down and speak. Why in the world would any prosecutor anywhere in this nation at any time ask a witness whether Jeffrey Williams was there? Nobody would say he was there. Nobody asked him to come. All it does is plant improperly in the mind of the jury. Jeffrey Williams was not bold like a lion, like Mr. Copeland, and go face the police that night. I'm moving for a minute.
All right, sir. State?
Yeah. This is a clear another clear violation
Mr. Steele, you give me a second
of
or if you can find it,
known rules.
please. What year was it decided?
Probably 2016, maybe 19.
It's or versus state?
State versus court, it came from the Court of Appeals of Georgia up to the Supreme Court of Georgia. And reverse our previous demarcation where the state cannot comment on pre-arrest silence. 2 is whether it is too prejudicial versus probative. And here there's zero probative value because the true evidence is that Mr. Williams is innocent of any charge, never asked by the police to come down, and didn't have a reason to go down to, quote, clear his name. So now the jurors are left with the unbelievable impression that somehow Jeffrey Williams should have gone to the police department, but didn't, and he hid behind Mr. Copeland. It's just outrageous. I mean, to me, that is, I've tried so many cases, this is just wrong. And the state inquires of this witness, knowing No matter what the witness said, it's just nobody's going to say. There's going to be a video played where Mr. Copeland's sitting in a room with Detective Thorpe. I mean, what a crazy thing to say. Was Jeffrey Williams with you when you went to the police? Why? What's the probative value of that?
Well, I'm gonna find out, I guess, so. Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. And the citation for is 351 Georgia App 578.
No, look at the state.
That's State DOR.
Look at the state versus Georgia Supreme Court. So the
All right.
Georgia case. I think Councilor already have it. So.
Get the date. All right.
Looks like it's gonna be 305 Georgia 729. Does that sound right? So you're like the 2019 case. Georgia Supreme Court.
305 Georgia 729. Is that correct? I see it. Okay.
Here's the thing. I don't care about what Ms. Hilton is about to say. Because they do this because they know Judge Glanville will most likely rule in their favor, no matter what they do. This is not the first time they have violated similar rules. It's not the first time, folks. And they know as long as they can nag and show some case from Bum Creek west, east of the tree with the howling owl local court ruling, the judge will rule in their favor.
All right. It is 305 Georgia 729. All right. Okay, first question is what's the relevance of asking Mr. Copeland about Mr. Williams?
Sure. Mr. Copeland is now stating to this jury for the first time a version of facts very different than what he told police on January 10th, 2015. On January 10th, 2015, and the state will be going into this, Mr. Copeland advised police, specifically, I want to talk about what happened on Cleveland Avenue. Mr. Copeland repeatedly in 2015 stated that Little D got into the car. The first time he said that Little D first said they killed Nut. As his interviews proceeded over the course of 6 months, he eventually says to police that Little D told him that they, and he was referencing Shannon, Mr. Kendrick, Mr. Stillwell, Mr. Kendrick, Mr. McMullen, all killed Nut. He is now saying today, for the first time, to this jury and to us yesterday, that Little D and Shannon got into the car and Little D did not say anything to him. And that now everything he said back in 2015, he just lied to get out of the trouble.
Yeah, that doesn't get away from the fact that nobody called Mr. Williams to get him down there. Not one. There is no evidence, no physical evidence, no phone record, no nothing. Besides the words of a person you, Miss Hilton, gave immunity even if he perjured himself on the stand. No, the jury isn't here for this. This is so effed up. Unbelievably corrupt. But this is what the prosecution has done all this time. Getting in surprise testimony, surprise everything. And the judge allows it.
So what we are doing is showing that back in 2015, none of these individuals were present none of these individuals were present in the room when he was speaking to law enforcement officers. And therefore now his story is changing when he has to now testify in court in front of these individuals. So this has nothing to do.
So you're not trying to get into pre-arrest silence?
Not at all, Your Honor. And especially on January 10th, 2015.
Bullshit.
Mr. Copeland speaks for the first time during that interview about Mr. Williams. But at no point is the state trying to get into any pre-arrest silence. It is solely to show that back then, none of these people were in the room with him. and he gave one version. And now when he has to testify in front of all of them, he's now giving a completely different version than he gave back then.
Mr. Steele, I'm gonna overrule your motion for mistrial. I'll note it that you've asked it before the positive
No,
next question.
What did I say?
And I'll make it a continuing objection, okay? Sir, did you hear me, Mr. Steele? Okay, all right. Anything else, Mr. Steele? Before I move on to Mr. Sharp?
I mean, you ruled, so.
Okay,
Appreciate the mistrial being waged.
okay, all right. Mr. Sharp?
On behalf of Mr. Stillwell, I just want to make it clear. I know the Harvey rule is in effect,
It
but
is.
I believe just for the record that the comment, because this is a RICO case and we've instituted the Harvey rule for a reason, but also specifically, this is a RICO case where the constitutional violations of one defendant affect all the rest of us. We are linked together. We sink and swim together in many ways. I am too moving for a mistrial for the same reasons that Mr. Steele enunciated. And I understand the court's ruling, but for the record, I just want to make it clear that I have specifically joined this motion on behalf of Mr. Stillwell.
I'll note that Harvey rule is in effect and all counsel, it will apply for all counsel that you move for mistrial and you posited another.
The point is that they have to make it into the record, even though everybody knows this is a sham of a trial. For you who don't know, the man on the stand, Mr. Copeland, was offered immunity even for perjury. The only thing he wasn't allowed to say was to say he killed Donovan Thomas on the stand. That's the only thing, apparently, they objected against. So for days now, they have coerced and colluded, put pressure on, and threatened with. They threatened Mr. Copeland with, we can hold you more or less indefinitely in jail if you don't testify. They told him and showed him. After this RICO trial, there are 12 more defendants who are awaiting trial. And they can hold him until the final trial is done. That's not 1 year. That's not 2 years. We are talking about 5 to 10 years from now. This is it's so corrupt. Oh, motion number 11. Oh, we are way in the 20s, even 30 motions to mistrial at this time.
Another motion for mistrial before the positive of the next question, okay?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, thank you. All right, like I said, I'm gonna note it for all defendants present that you move for mistrial. All right, unless there's anything else.
Would you consider a limited curative instruction admonishing the state in front of the jury that this has nothing to do with Mr. Williams, they should not have asked that question, and that the jury should take no adverse inference against Mr. Williams whatsoever?
No, sir, because it's a proper question at this point in time, given the state's rationale over your objection, okay? All right, anything else?
I'd like to use that.
You fucked.
No, go ahead. I'll let you all take 5 minutes and bless you and do that. We'll be in recess.
Yeah. I'm furious. Now we all know how long Mr. Yeah. Now we are actually live. I don't know what to say. The level of corruption in this trial. But now they just remove. I mean, the prosecution knows that things are up in the Georgia Supreme Court, and they might rule at any point in time. So they need to quickly get as much evidence in as possible in order to get the Georgia Supreme Court to at least grant them a new trial, or the next prosecution's team a new trial. So all gloves are off from the prosecution. They They don't even pretend to obey by the rules. They will invent anything. Anything. Yeah, but here's the thing, C3141 GG. We don't know what how they will rule in the Georgia Supreme Court. And that is what Judge Glanville and the prosecution's team are banking on. That somehow they won't kick this trial to the
All
curb.
right, thank you, Ham.
Yes. Oh, impeaching her own witness because she can. He is a reluctant witness. And now he claims he lied then. Now the defense on cross-examination, okay, so you lied then. We know you're a liar, so what tells us you won't lie now? There are political reasons to go after the judge and DA's office. Oh, fuck off! Have you seen this trial? Have you seen even 10 minutes of this fucking trial? Fuck off! This is a scam of a trial and has been from day one. Has nothing to do with politics. The only politics in here is Fannie Willis using RICO trials and tens of millions of dollars of taxpayers' money for RICO trials so she can get there. Okay. Thank you, C3141.
Okay, all right. Can we bring Mr. Copeland back in, please?
Your Honor, can I make just one quick statement as he's coming in?
Okay.
I just want to add also for the court to consider, you know, when the state makes this argument that persuaded the court that it was okay, it presumes bad character on Mr. Williams and the others. It's, well, he never said that until he's in the courtroom. And the state does that a lot in this.
It's impeachment.
Every time. And you have overruled and said it goes to bias of the witness. But I never heard a witness say, yes, I'm intimidated. The state just presumes that. So that's another reason that I don't believe that that was a valid persuasive objection. I know you did, but I just want that in the record. And going forward, if you could give me another, I think you gave it to me, but another continuing objection just to make sure any comment on, you know, well, you're intimidated by Mr. Williams or the others if they want.
We hadn't gotten to that yet. I think we covered.
Yeah, I mean, that is the implication from the prosecution. He told one story there because he didn't have them in front of him, and he's telling another one now because they are in front of him.
That sometime earlier in another motion, but it depends on what is testified to. And I'll have to take that on a case-by-case basis.
I'm objecting to it now if that's where the state's going.
I can't give you a continuing objection about that. I need to hear it first, okay? So, all right.
But to that question, I'm saying, you know, well, have you ever, I assume they're going to follow up with, have you ever testified in front of these gentlemen before? Something to that effect. And by saying these gentlemen, Mr. Williams and other people.
I don't know whether or not they are, but let me find out. Does the state have anything they wish to add to Mr. Steele's comment or assertion?
I mean, we'll definitely explore the fact that his testimony is changing now in the presence of these individuals versus when he was not in their presence. We will explore that because I think that that is a ripe area for the state to go into because he is now changing his testimony.
All right. Well, I'll note Mr. Steele's objection, okay, and make it continuing, depending upon how the foundation you'll lay, Ms. Hilton, okay? All right, let's bring Mr. Copeland back in, please. Summon our jurors.
I wish I didn't have work tomorrow. I need a strong drink.
All right, so jury.
Dave, you haven't heard. Georgia Supreme Court granted bond. So Mr. Steele will not go to jail this weekend. So I can actually show you. I have it here. Dun, dun, dun. Hold on while I... There. And there. The Honorable Supreme Court met pursuant to adjournment. The following orders was passed. In re Brian Steele. Movement Brian Steele appealed to the Court of Appeals at trial court's order holding him in criminal contempt. At the same time, he filed in the Court of Appeals an emergency motion for supersedes bond on criminal contempt. The Court of Appeals transferred that emergency motion to this court, citing State v. Murray, and noting that we have the ultimate responsibility for determining whether this court has appellate jurisdiction over the matter. Permitting whether this emergency motion for supersedes or the related appeal fall within this court's jurisdiction over murder cases, compare E.G. Gilliam v. State. We hereby grant a writ of certiorari as to both the emergency motion and the appeal of the contempt order. When the appeal of the contempt order is docketed in the Court of Appeals, the Court of Appeals is directed to transfer that appeal and record to this court. We further grant supersedes with respect to the trial court's order holding Steele in criminal contempt. All the justices concur, except Peterson not participating. So, yeah, Mr. Steele will not spend any time in jail. And the Georgia Supreme Court has affirmed that all appeals regarding this trial will pass the Court of Appeals and go directly to Georgia Supreme Court. So that is actually a good thing, because then it's a level more distanced from corrupt Glanville and the corrupt prosecution. They might even get there quite fast, because this faster clock of a trial, there needs to be repercussions from this. Bar cards must be revoked from the prosecution and probably this judge as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. All right, Ms. Hilton, you may continue when ready.
Better. Ms. Cole, when I left off, was Thug in the room with you when you spoke with Investigator Thorpe?
No,
Was Yak in the room with you when you spoke with Investigator Thorpe?
no,
Was Shannon in the room with you when you spoke with Investigator
I was
Thorpe?
by myself.
Basis, overrule, sir. I'll note your motion. You can make it, at our first break, okay? All right, thank you, sir. All right.
And was Clay in the room with you?
I was by myself.
Say again, Mr. Matthews? What objection? Okay, you have a motion. All right, okay. First break.
And when you spoke with
See, prosecution no longer cares. They got a carte blanche of bringing anything in because they say, oh, but he changed his story. That means we can violate every rule, every judicial rule in this Georgia court. Because this man changed his testimony. No, I mean, people change the testimony all the time. It doesn't give a carte blanche, a free raid on violating every rule known to man.
Investigator Thorpe, was that at about 3:00 a.m. on January 11, 2015?
I guess.
And during that interview, did you go in there to speak with him about everything that you knew leading up to the murder of Donovan Thomas?
I guess.
And during that interview, did you tell Detective Thorpe your concerns about?
I'll sustain the question, sir.
During the interview, were you able to give Mr. Investigator Thorpe your date of birth?
Huh?
During that interview, were you asked by Detective Thorpe your date of birth?
I guess.
And what is your date of birth?
July 25th, 91.
Okay. And during that interview, were you asked to give your middle name?
I guess.
Okay. And what is that?
Xavier.
Okay. And during the course of that interview, were you informed by Detective Thorpe his reasoning of wanting to speak with you?
Huh?
Did Detective Thorpe tell you why he wanted to speak with you?
Keep it like laughing and joking.
Okay. But did he tell you that he wanted to speak with you?
I'll stay in the question.
Did he tell you why he wanted to speak with you?
Yeah.
Overrule, sir.
And did he ask you to tell him everything that you knew about the murder?
I guess.
All right. Who is Kel?
Who?
Who is Kel?
Be more specific.
Okay. Do you know someone by the name of Kel?
I know a lot of people named Kel.
Do you know someone who goes by the name of Shell Kel?
I don't know him, but I know who you're talking about.
Okay. And back in 2015, did you and Shell Kel have any issues?
If he's still here, then now.
Back in 2015, did you tell Detective Thorpe that you and Shell Kel had some issues?
I guess.
Okay. And is Shell Kel related to Nut?
I guess.
Do you recall in this interview telling Detective Thorpe that Shell Kel is Nut's brother?
I guess.
And that specifically that Shell Kel is Nut's little brother?
Prosecution and the judge does not care. This is broadcasted live to the world. They don't care. They don't care because all they care about is getting a conviction. That's all they care about. They have zero interest in the truth. As evident from the ex parte meeting where Miss Hilton offered this man, Mr. Copeland, immunity even for perjury.
I guess.
Do you guess or do you know?
I don't recall what was said in the interview.
All right. And during that interview, did you speak with Detective Thorpe about how your issues with Shell Kel began?
I guess.
When you say you guessed, do you recall or no?
Saying,
Hold on. What's the basis of your objection, Mr. Sharp? Well, so what's your objection, sir?
You're fine.
I'm gonna sustain it on other grounds.
When you say you guess, what do you mean?
You asking me so clearly, I must have did.
That's not an affirmative answer. This is the prosecution
When
testifying.
did your issues with Shelkel begin?
I don't know. I don't.
Did you tell Detective Thorpe that your issues with Shelkel began maybe about 4 months prior to the death of Donovan Thomas?
I guess.
When you say you guess, what do you mean?
I mean, I guess I said it. I guess.
Do you know if your problems with Shelkel began 4 months prior to the death of Donovan Thomas?
If I had a problem with Sheriff Kill, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, and I'm asking you, when did those problems begin?
Say it again.
When did those problems begin with you and Shelkel?
I don't know.
In your interview in January 11, 2015 with Detective Thorpe, did you tell Detective Thorpe when asked about when your problems began, say 2 months, 3 months, I'm going to say no longer than 4 months?
Probably did. I don't know.
What were the problems that you had with
Leading
Shelkel?
questions all along.
I misunderstand.
What was the misunderstanding?
I don't know.
Okay. Did you and him get into a fight at Club Crucial on the Monday before Donovan Thomas' death?
No,
You're saying you did not get into a fight with him that Monday.
I did not get into a fight with them. They put their hands on me.
Okay. What happened when they put their hands on you? Can you respond? What happened when they put their hands on you?
If they imply that he was into a physical altercation causing injury, then we can easily go to those cops' report about how he looked. Did he have injuries? If he didn't, ta-da.
They ran out the club.
Who is they?
I don't know.
Did you tell Detective Thorpe about what happened between you and Shelkel the Monday before Donovan Thomas was killed?
I guess.
When you say you guess, do you know if you told him about what happened that Monday?
Back then, my mind was all over the place, and whatever he asked me, I was just trying to get him out my face.
Okay. Do you recall in the same January 11, 2015 interview telling Detective Thorpe that you went to Club Crucial, you pulled out your money because you were on stage, you were flashing your money to all the girls were standing around, you were flashing your money. When you get off the stage, you were flashing money, and Kel and his whole crew walked up on me. You recall telling Detective Thorpe that back in your January 11, 2015.
Hey,
I probably
Nana, thank you for being a member
Then
for 3
you
months.
recall telling
Thank you
Detective
so much.
Thorpe that you looked up and you said to Kel, "What up, bro? What's going on?"
I probably did.
And that Kel didn't say anything. So he just said, "Hey, what's up?" You asked him.
Thank you so much, Nana Misty, for gifting 5 memberships. It went to Isemaj, Jim Gerard, Lisa Faltersack, Susan Dean, and Just Stacy. Welcome to the Viking crew. You now have access to all my members-only content, and it's a lot of hours and hours and hours of content just for you. And it's more personal. It's about the farm, the renovations, Mr. Jingles, the cat, and my personal thoughts. So you get a lot of value for just $3 a month, or as for you 5, for free, thanks to Nana Misty. Thank you, Nana. I deeply, deeply appreciate you.
"What's up, bro?" And then he began asking you about Thug. You recall telling Detective Thorpe that.
I probably did.
And I need to know, is that a yes or a no? Did you tell him? Did you not tell him? Or do you not recall?
Answer the question, Your Honor. Object to follow up.
Your Honor, he's saying he probably did. I'm asking yes,
Oh,
no.
I'm gonna overrule the objection, Mr. Steele.
Did you say it? Did you not say it, or you don't recall saying it?
I said something to him, so if that's what he said, I said, then
I'm asking, what do you remember? Do you remember telling him this or not? What you don't
they
recall?
questioned me so many times, and I told them something different every time they questioned me. I
Okay.
don't recall what I told this person.
Do you have an objection, Mr.
That
Steele?
person-
Oh, hold on, Mr. Copeland. Do you have an objection, sir? Basis.
Limited options for the witness to answer.
Overrule, sir. Overrule, sir.
So you saying you don't recall what you told him?
Objection needed.
He answered your.
I'm gonna overrule the objection, Mr. Sharp.
Can you say it again?
Sure. Did you tell Detective Thorpe that Kel wanted to speak with Thug at the club on that Monday before Nut passed away?
I said, they have asked me questions about this so many different times. I have told them different things every time. I cannot tell you what for 100% facts exactly what I have told him.
So do you not recall what you told him?
I said, I guess if he's
I stand the objection.
That was a clear answer, but Miss Hilton isn't having it. She will keep pounding until she gets the answers she wants, which is, if you remember, former police officer Velasquez, who on the stand a few months ago testified under oath that if he was taking statements from witnesses, he deleted the ones he didn't like, which in the rest of the United States and most of the Western world is destroying evidence. And he admitted to it. And we're still here.
Do you remember what you told Detective Thorpe about whether or not you told him?
I sustain the objection.
Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that after you told Kel that Thug was in the club, Kel began to.
You have an objection, sir?
Sure.
I'm overruling the objection, sir.
Of course you are.
Kel took his necklace and put it inside of his shirt.
huh?
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that after Kel asked you about Thug, you then saw Kel put his necklace inside of his shirt?
I guess.
When you say you guess, do you recall telling him that or no?
Yeah, I said it, I guess.
And then when you saw him put his necklace inside his shirt, you then put your money inside of your pocket.
Yes.
Do you remember what happened after you put your money inside of your pocket?
They jumped on me.
Who is the day that jumped on you?
I didn't see no. I knew I was surrounded by a lot of people. And
Was Kel one of the individuals that jumped on you?
I don't know if he hit me. I don't remember if it was him who hit me, somebody hit me. And when whoever hit me.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that Kel punched you in the back of your head on that same January 11, 2015 interview?
He probably did.
He probably hit you, or did you probably tell?
Yeah, I said it.
And did you also tell Detective Thorpe, so he punched me in the back of the head, then they pushed me to the ground. He tries to go in my pocket and take my money, but I hold on to my money. The other guy punched me all in the face, but I didn't care. I was holding on to the money.
Yes.
Okay. After they were punching you on the ground, do you remember if you ever got up?
Clearly.
What did you do after you got up? You left. What do you remember about after you got up?
I had a knot on my face.
Okay. And then what happened?
I was real mad.
All right. And then what happened?
Somebody was gonna pay for their knot.
Okay. So then what happened?
So
I went
since
home.
then you have been lying about what happened, including now.
Did you go outside of the store,
Right.
of the club
Mr.
right
Copeland.
after you got off the ground?
I had to leave out the club.
Okay. And when you went out the club, did you see anyone outside of the club?
If they were that's it.
I'm asking you, what do you remember?
I guess.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe in his January 11th interview that when you got out of the club, Bloody J was outside of the club?
I guess.
You guess that you told him?
Yes,
Okay. And when you got out of the club, what, if anything, happened to Bloody J?
what you mean?
Do you recall if anything happened to Bloody J when you got outside of the club?
You can't remind me?
Do you remember, yes or no?
No.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that when you got outside of Bloody J, when you got outside the club, that two of your buddies went and beat up Bloody J?
I guess.
Okay, what two buddies beat up Bloody J?
According to Judge Glanville, I guess is an answer the prosecution can interpret any way they want. It's a shit show.
Tim, I don't recall.
You don't recall? Do you recall it being one of the individuals being moonsault?
Yes, I guess.
Don't say, I guess. It's either
I
yes,
guess.
no, or you don't recall.
I ain't trying to say the wrong thing. So
So do you not recall?
I stand the question. I don't need it. Just tell me the basis for the objection, Mr. Short, okay?
I need you to answer yes. Was it moonsault?
Overruled, Mr. Short.
Do you remember if it was moonsault or not remember if it was moonsault?
if he said that's what I said, then yes.
I'm asking you, what happened?
I don't recall what happened. I was mad. I had a knot on my head.
Now, do you also recall speaking with Detective Thorpe about what happened at the Cascade skating rink before this fight at Club Crucial on the Monday before Donovan died?
I guess.
When you say you guess, do you recall or you don't recall?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell the jury what happened at the Cascade skating rink before this fight at Club Crucial.
What happened at Cascade?
Yes.
And nothing happened at the skating rink?
Yes.
Nothing.
Do you recall speaking with Kel at the skating rink?
That's what I told Detective Thorpe.
I'm asking you, what do you remember?
I don't remember nothing from 2015. I remember the fight. They put their hands on me.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe, actually before talking about what happened that Monday, that you and Kel were at the Cascade skating rink and the two of you actually spoke at the Cascade skating rink?
When I was talking to Detective Thorpe, I can't recall what I told him because I was just telling him anything.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that at the Cascade skating rink, you wanted to speak with Kel and you said to Kel, hey, let me holler at you?
Not if you put no knot on my head.
This is before he put the knot on your head.
Objection to the proper question.
I'll ask a better
I
question.
stand the question, sir.
Do you recall speaking to Kel before he put the knot on your head at Cascade skating rink?
I guess.
I need to know, yes, you remember, no, you don't remember, or you don't remember.
If you're saying this what I told Thorpe, then this what I probably told him.
Do you remember speaking to Kel, period? At Cascade skating rink.
We ain't no speak. We wasn't on speaking term.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that at the Cascade skating rink, you and Kel were standing right there and y'all talked about everything that you had against each other?
If I was somewhere around Cherokee, I don't think we would be talking.
Okay. Did you also tell Detective Thorpe that as we talked, we said it was over? So it was like, we're over, we ain't beefing no more. Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe about that conversation you had with Kel?
I guess.
It's not responsive. Do you recall or not recall telling Detective Thorpe that?
I told Detective Thorpe whatever he said, I told him.
Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that on that same day at the Cascade skating rink, Kel wanted to speak with Thug?
Cool.
This will be something that what they did to Slug a few months ago. He says he can't remember, which means the prosecution somehow is allowed to more or less ask questions from what was said in the police report or in the interview And apparently it's allowed for impeachment reasons. I don't know.
Kel wanted to speak with Thug.
If I would have any chance to be around Sheriff Kell at any point, I would not been talking to him.
I understand what you're saying today. I'm asking you what you told Detective Thorpe.
And I told you that if I told Detective Thorpe anything and he said I said it, then I probably did.
So did you also tell Detective Thorpe that you then called Thug on FaceTime for Kel and Thug to speak with each other?
When he checked my phone record, did he see that call?
I'm asking you, did you tell Detective Thorpe that on the Sunday at Cascade Skating Ring that you got Thug on FaceTime so Kel and Thug could speak? Yes or no?
If Detective Thorpe said I told him that, I told him that.
Okay. Do you remember that happening?
Nope. I don't remember. Me and Sheriff Kell ain't gonna talk.
All right. And then do you remember telling Detective Thorpe, so him and Thug talk, and whatever was said with that, I don't know.
I probably told Detective Thorpe that.
And again, that was in your January 11, 2015 interview.
I guess.
Now, did you also tell Detective Thorpe about a shooting that occurred at a gambling house in Lakewood?
If that's what he said.
Do you recall a shooting at the gambling house in Lakewood? Do you recall a shooting at a gambling house in Lakewood?
No,
You do not?
I don't.
Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe in that same January 11, 2015 interview that there was a shooting over in Lakewood and that it was Kel, and he was standing on top of a roof and shooting inside?
I probably did.
I need to know, do you remember telling him that or you don't remember telling him that?
When Detective Thorpe questioned me about what happened, I thought I was in there about 5 minutes. I thought I walked in and walked back out. So I don't know what I don't told him. I can't remember what I don't told him.
So you say you don't remember telling him about what happened at?
But if he said that I told him that, I'm telling you right now, I told him that. So can you start asking me where I suppose?
Here's the thing. Considering the huge amount of dishonest cops who have taken the stand in this trial, I feel sorry a little bit about Copeland, because if this cop says I said it, I did. I can't be sure, because there are so many bad cops testifying in this trial. So many. So I will not trust any cop's word for anything.
Opposed to told Detective Thorpe, because I'm telling you now, if he said that I said anything about anything, I'm telling you, more likely I probably did.
Great. Well, I want to ask you about all the
Probably,
things that you talked to
yes,
Detective
not
Thorpe about.
definitely.
Did you also tell Detective Thorpe about the Friday before Nutt was killed?
I guess.
Okay. On the Friday that Nutt was killed, were you with Thug the Friday evening before Nutt was killed?
No, you just said it earlier. Was I at the house? I said yes.
I'm talking about the Friday evening before Nutt was killed.
I can't recall. I don't know what I don't told Detective Thorpe.
I'm asking you, what do you remember yourself?
When I think back about 2015, all I remember was getting a call saying that Nutt was killed and I was responsible for it. And the only thing besides that is people showing up at my folks' houses. Details about what happened, all this stuff been blanked out my mind. Like, it been blanked out my mind.
So how can you say definitely what was going on then? Because all of a sudden the prosecution claims that you now, for the first time, have said that you, Shannon, and the third guy was in the car making the shooting. I don't trust you. Mainly because Miss Hilton offered you immunity even if you lied on the stand. unless he lied about taking the blame for Donovan Thomas' murder.
In that same January 11, 2000 interview, you recall telling Detective Thorpe that you were with Doug and you were at DJ Drama's studio.
I probably did.
Do you remember telling him, or you don't recall telling him? I need to have it.
If Detective Thorpe said I said it, I said it.
And then after leaving the studio, that is when you went over to your girl's house, which would be Deshaun's house.
I guess.
Thank you, C3141. At that point, double jeopardy attaches because of bad faith action by judge and prosecutor under Kennedy v. Oregon and United States versus Dinitz. Here's the thing. This judge will apply the rules he wants to apply. That's it. So just because there are Supreme Court statutes, just because there are multiple decisions towards this, is no guarantee for Judge Glanville caring about it. And thank you, Nana Misty, for your $5 super chat. Thank you so much. She says, I would not believe anyone on the state side, even if their voice boxes came notarized. Thank you for your support of this channel. Thank you so much.
Now, earlier I asked you about what time you left Deshaun's home to go to your brother's house. Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that you left Deshaun's home around 5:00 p.m.?
I guess.
When you say you guess, I need to know, do you recall telling him that or you don't recall telling him that?
If he said I said it, I said it.
And is that true or that not true that you left her home around 5:00?
If you know something about me, I don't keep up with the time or the days. I just go with the flow.
So do you remember it being around 5:00 p.m. that you left Deshaun's house?
I don't know what time I left her house.
When you went to Mechanicsville, do you remember seeing anyone in Mechanicsville?
What you mean?
You said earlier that on the night before Nutt's murder, on the day of, you left Deshaun's house and you went to Mechanicsville. Do you remember seeing anyone when you went to Mechanicsville?
I don't remember if I seen anyone.
Okay. Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that you went to the Green store?
I guess.
I need to know, do you remember telling him or you don't remember telling him? Or was that a lie?
Faces.
Your Honor, his response are non-responsive to my question.
I'm going to overrule your objection, sir. Thank you.
So do you remember telling him? You don't remember telling him
Do I remember telling him what?
that you went to the Green store?
I probably did.
When you say you probably, I didn't know yes, no, or I don't recall.
Whatever Thorpe said I told him, I told him.
Okay. Do you remember telling him that you met with Little Rick at the Green store?
I probably did.
Yes.
Just a forewarning, folks. This will be the rest of the day. Remember Slug? What happened when he was on the stand? This will be a repeat of that. And speaking of Slug, way back then, all of a sudden, after a day or two of his testimony, his demeanor changed drastically, which leads me to believe that the exact same thing happened. Judge prosecution colluded and coerced Slug into testifying under the threat of spending up to a decade in jail?
No, I don't recall.
You want me to,
Yes, sir, you may.
Yes, no, I don't recall.
if Thorpe said I said it, I said it.
Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that while you were at the green store, you called Little D?
I guess.
Did you tell him? Did you not tell him, or you don't recall telling him that?
If Thorpe said I said it, I said it.
Do you recall telling him that he told you he was on Cleveland Avenue?
I guess.
Yes, no, I don't recall.
If Thorpe said I said it, I said it.
Now, when you got to Cleveland Avenue earlier today, you said that Little D and you're right.
I think she's oriented to time and place. I'm gonna rule the objection, sir.
Earlier today, you said that Little D and Shannon got into your vehicle. Do you recall saying that earlier today?
I think I did.
Okay. Back in January of 2015, did you ever tell Detective Thorpe? Your Honor, now I'm impeaching.
I'll rule the question, sir.
Did you ever tell Detective?
Isn't it interesting that now in the middle of the question, she says, well, now it's impeachment. Well, either here's a proper questioning of this guy should be getting a yes, no, I don't remember. Those are the three options he should have. And this is actually up to the judge to tell him that. You have three options. Yes, no, I don't remember. I guess, and referring to a third party is not good enough. That would be, I guess it's hearsay. But here we are. Here we are.
Thorpe that Shannon was in the vehicle with you and Little D back on the morning of January 10th, 2015.
If he said I did, I did.
I'm asking you, did you? Because you're saying today, you're saying the truth, and back then,
I sustain the objection.
did you ever tell Detective Thorpe that Shannon was in the vehicle with you?
I guess.
Back in 2015, you did not tell Detective Thorpe that Shannon was in the car with you.
Objection, asked and answered.
I sustain the question.
In 2015, did you tell Detective Thorpe that only Little D got into the car with you?
I guess.
Did you say that to Detective Thorpe?
If he said I did.
Back in 2015, did you then tell Detective Thorpe that Little D told you that Nut just got killed?
Basis, sir.
Your Honor, do we address this?
I'm gonna rule the objection, sir.
Confrontation clause as well.
Your Honor, we
Overrule, sir.
today you said that you and Little D never talked about the murder, correct?
Today I said whatever I told Thorpe in 2015, I was trying to get him out my face. So I do not know exactly what I have told him.
Today, do you have an independent memory of what happened on January 10th, 2015?
What you mean?
Do you have a memory outside of what you told Detective Thorpe about what happened on January 10th, 2015?
Basis, sir. I did tell me the basis for your objection. I'm gonna overrule the objection, sir.
I'm going to object, asked and answered, Your Honor.
Overrule, sir.
Wait.
So today, do you have an independent knowledge of what happened on January 10th when you picked up Little D?
Can you say that one more time?
Sure. Today, without remembering what you told Detective Thorpe, what is your memory of your interaction with Little D on January 10th, 2015?
I don't have a remember. What you mean? Like,
Okay.
I just know that I picked up the D and Shannon, and that's when I got a call saying that I supposed to did this and did that.
And in January 2015, you never told Detective Thorpe that you picked up Little D and Shannon.
I guess.
Earlier, I
Wondering
asked
if I have
you
it
if
here
Moonson FaceTimed you,
I'll
and
be
you said you
right
did not recall if Moonson FaceTimed you.
I know he called me. I don't know if it was FaceTime regular. All I know was I remember what came out of his mouth.
And in 2015, in January 2015, you told Detective Thorpe that he FaceTimed you.
I guess.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that or no? Yeah, that's not responsive. I guess it's not responsive.
I'm gonna overrule your objection, sir. You can answer the question, sir.
I need to know if you remember or if you do not remember.
If he said I said it, then I said it.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that?
Overrule, sir.
That's not. Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that he FaceTimed you?
I guess.
I guess it's not.
How about that? I found a beer. And no worries, folks. I'm not daytime drinking. It's 5:15 p.m. where I am. So it's not daytime drinking for me.
I'm responsive.
Well,
It's not responsive, Mr. Steele. I'm gonna overrule your objection.
Do you recall?
I don't know what I told Detective. I don't remember what I told Detective. Whatever his name is.
Thank you. So you don't remember if you told Detective Thorpe that?
I sustain his request, Mr. Form.
Now, do you remember back in January 2015 giving Detective Thorpe Moonsoon's phone number?
I guess.
I guess it's not responsive.
Overrule, sir.
I need you to respond. Do you remember?
I don't remember. I don't remember nothing I told Detective Thorpe.
All right.
So that's my response to every question you about to ask me. If it have anything to do with me speaking with him. It wasn't in my right state of mind. I don't have a clue.
Well, you got to bear with him. I have to ask you the question specifically. You just
Okay,
say I
you can
don't
ask.
remember.
I just said.
Mr. Steele, overruled.
Do you remember today what Moonsoon's number was back then?
Back then when?
Back in 2015.
No,
Roy Lonsinger says, listening to Danny on last night, she was saying that this prosecutor is as guilty as the judge over the meeting and she can lose her law license. I agree. And since we now know that more or less the entire prosecution's team was in that room with the judge in that secret ex parte meeting, all of them have put their law license at risk. And I'm just saying, if I were the Georgia State Bar, I would have one offer, one piece of paper on the table. Whoever squeals first gets to keep their bar license. I don't. That's not legal. I know that will never happen. But oh, that would be so fun to see the younger lawyers in the DA's office recently got out of law school with tons of debt, running to the state bar. I want to squeal. I want to squeal.
I know my phone number now.
All right. Do you remember giving him the number 404-662-8935?
I guess.
I need to know, do you remember or you do not remember?
Yeah, I did.
Do you remember what kind of car that Moonsoon dropped you off in to take you to the police department on January 11, 2015?
I don't know. I don't know if he asked me. I don't remember what I told him.
Okay. Do you remember saying it was either bluish, grayish Malibu and it was rented?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember telling him that?
Yes, I guess. Yes, yes,
Malibu?
yes.
Is this car number 4 that is supposed to be involved in this?
Earlier today, you said that you went down there because the police called you. Do you remember saying that?
Overruled, sir.
Do you remember saying that earlier today?
That's on while I went down there.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe, I was asking everybody, should I go down there, bro? Because I didn't do it. I didn't do it. You can look at my phone records, but I didn't do it.
Yes.
All right. Yes, you remember telling him that?
If he said I said it, yes, I said it.
I need to know if you remember telling him that.
Yes. I don't know why there's further questions.
I'm overruling the objection, Mr. Sharp.
Do you also recall telling Detective Thorpe that you also advised Moonson that he should come down and speak with the police?
Yes.
So this, folks, is why I prefer to do recaps, because then I could show you snippets, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, instead of listening to this absolute unimaginable stupid questioning from the prosecution. Hello, obscure destinations outdoors. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Yeah, this is why I prefer recaps, because, folks, you know, I've been covering this case for over a year. Almost daily since the trial started. And I prefer recaps, but I will go until the next break. Then, for the sake of my sanity, we will do the rest of recaps tomorrow, unless shit hits the fan again. Then I will get back on stream.
When you just said yes, you kind of shrugged your shoulders. Why did you do that?
Overruled, sir.
Because you asked me questions.
Hold on, Mr. Overruled, sir.
Why did you shrug your shoulder?
Because they my shoulders.
Okay. Was Kel the only person that you had problems with back in 2015?
I'll stay in this phone.
Let me ask you, did you have any issues with Nut in 2015? Why'd you chuckle?
Huh?
I asked you if you had any issues with Nut, and then you said, and you chuckled. Why?
Your Honor, there was a question posed. Ask another question, my objection.
Overruled, sir. Overruled. I'm gonna overrule it, okay, for the time being.
It's against the original question.
Sir, I've overruled your objection, okay?
So I'll ask you first, why did you chuckle when I asked the question?
I don't know.
Okay. So did you have an issue with Nut back in 2015?
I don't think I did.
All right. And did you tell the police that the only person you had a problem with was Kel?
Yes.
Now, after the murder of Donovan Thomas, did you try to call Bloody J?
That what I said?
I'm asking you, what do you remember?
I guess.
Do you remember or do you not remember?
What I'm trying to call Bloody J for?
So do you not remember calling Bloody J?
What would I need to talk to him for?
So do you not remember calling Bloody J?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember. I don't recall.
All right. Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe in that same January 11th interview that you called Bloody J on the phone?
Yes.
So why would you want to call Bloody J?
You need to tell me.
I'm not you. So why
I'm
would
saying, you know what I supposed to say?
I'm asking you now.
I don't know. I don't have a clue. Why would I want to call him?
Did you attempt to call anyone else the night that Donovan Thomas was murdered to tell them that you did not kill Donovan Thomas?
Say that again?
On January 10, 2015, did you attempt to call anyone who was affiliated with If Gang so that you can tell them that you did not kill Donovan?
I ain't doing no calling nobody.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe first that you tried to call Bloody J and that there was someone else that you could call, but it's no use?
Yes.
Now, course indulgence for one moment.
I didn't hear you.
I said course indulgence for one moment.
Huh? What I mean?
Do you recall Detective Thorpe asking you about an Infinity car on January 11, 2015?
I guess
Do you remember him asking you, or you don't remember he asked you?
when this is what I remember from talking to Detective Thorpe. I walked in the homicide building. He said, "Hey man, I still got a body on the street. You came in here? I don't think you did it." That's how they went to me. So you asked me the question. I don't remember having a conversation with him. So I ain't saying I didn't. If you saying he said I did have a conversation with him, then I did. But I don't remember him. I don't remember these. So I don't know what I don't told him. But I just know that I thought he let me walk right back out the door. I don't remember being in there no more than 5 minutes.
And if you don't remember, that's all you have to say is you don't remember.
I keep telling you I don't remember.
And I have to ask you specific questions. So if you don't remember,
Mr. Steele, I need to see an objection, not commentary, okay? So, no, that's not, that's, I'm overruling objection, sir.
Yeah. She's instructing the witness on how to answer. That's the judge's job. She can ask the judge to give him instructions. She can't give them. She's the prosecutor. But we also know that neither Judge Glanville or the prosecution cares anymore. They don't care. They stopped doing that because they know they are on a time, on a schedule. Because once the Georgia Supreme Court takes this case, they need to have as much garbage evidence in as possible to say, but you can't go that far. You can't do it with prejudice. Then they will walk. Oh, they should walk. This is one of the things that is really, really wrong with the justice system. And I'm not talking about the United States specifically, because it's happening all around the Western world. With lazy prosecution, ignorant judges, and sadly, a public opinion that is no longer going for innocent unless proven guilty. And that is, I mean, democracy or your kind of republic can survive anything. But they can't survive corruption from within. Judge, you need to call for a break and then have a hearing about this conduct, so you can again show the world what an ignorant twat you are. Yeah, it's, as Reform Convict says, this is so beyond a dumpster fire. It's a landfill inferno.
Mr. Sharma, will overrule your objection. That's not what the prosecutor asked, okay? So, all right, you can continue, madam.
No,
do you remember or do you not remember if Detective Thorpe actually?
I don't remember.
All right. Do you remember Detective Thorpe asking you if you've ever been stopped in an Infinity before?
Can you say it again?
Sure. Do you remember Detective Thorpe asking you if you had ever been stopped in an Infinity before?
Make up your mind, prosecution. Is it an Infinity? Is it a Plymouth? Is it every kind of car? Because we know the only reason you say Infinity is because then you can claim it's Jeffrey Williams who rented it. Here's the thing. There is no Infinity scene on that video of the drive-by shooting. There simply isn't.
Sure.
Be oriented to the date of this meeting.
Sure.
We're talking about the same January 11, 2015 interview.
I don't know what mean. I don't, whatever you told me to say, I don't know. I don't.
Do you remember back on January 10, 2015, any cars following you home the night that Donovan Thomas was killed?
Can you say it again?
Sure. On the night that Donovan Thomas was killed, do you recall any cars following you home, specifically following you into Carver Homes?
I don't remember.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that you were heading into Carver Home and you saw a little red Camaro following you inside of the apartment complex?
I probably did.
I need to know, do you remember or do you not remember?
I told you already. I don't remember. You keep asking me.
So if you don't remember, just say you do not remember.
I object to this. Can't tell me in court, I object to this kind of work.
Well, Your Honor, I'll ask.
I'll sustain the question. I'll sustain the, you,
Your Honor, then I'll ask. You can instruct Mr. Copeland if he does not remember, just to say he does not remember.
Mr. Copeland, just answer the question to the best of your ability, okay?
I thought I did, Judge.
You're.
I told her I don't remember no conversation I had with. She trying to cross me up. She trying to say this and that. When I don't told her I don't tell the police anything they wanted to hear for them to. And she keep asking me over and over.
You're gonna have to answer the question, sir, okay?
So is your entire interview with Detective Thorpe a lie?
Huh?
Was your entire interview with Detective Thorpe a lie?
I don't know. I can't tell you what I told him. You got to tell me what I told him.
Okay, so we're gonna keep on going.
But I don't. When you tell me what I told him, I'm telling you now. I probably did tell him that. I'm telling you. I told him that.
Okay.
So.
But you have to tell me which ones are lies and which ones.
You're correct, sir. Mr. Copeland, do you have something else you want to add to that response?
I can't remember.
Do you want me to repeat the question?
Yeah, but the foul part here is the question, is the word that Miss Hilton said. Let's go back and see if you also hear
You
it.
have to tell me which ones are lies and which ones.
Which ones are lie and which is a lie and which isn't. That is so improper. Now, he did claim he told lies back then, but he can't remember what he said. So how can he say he lied if he don't remember? It's so stupid. It's so improper.
You're correct, sir. Mr. Copeland, do you have something else you want to add to that response?
I can't remember.
Do you want me to repeat the question?
I can't remember what I had to say.
Do you want me to repeat your response up until that point in time?
You got to tell me what was
Okay,
said.
hold on just a second. We can help you out with that.
Miss Hilton can't ask a proper question unless his love's hand moving her mouth.
I'm sorry.
Oh, and before I've late, just when I ended the stream, I got a donation, $5 via PayPal. So thank you to Brenda H, or from Bree H. thank you so much for your support of this channel. Yes, if you don't want to sponsor YouTube with 30% of what you super chat, you can go via PayPal, and I will read your message in PayPal because they take a 2 to 5% cut instead.
Told me now I probably did tell him that. I didn't tell you I told him that, so.
Can you say that again?
She said, was your entire interview with Oracle Lot? He said, I can't tell you what I told him. You gotta tell me what I told him.
Right.
And so we'll keep going.
You got to tell me what I told you.
And then he said, well, you told me now, I probably did tell him that. I didn't tell him why I told him that, so. And then someone said, but you have to tell me which ones are lies. And they interrupted, so.
So how I supposed to tell you which one's alive if I don't know, if I can't remember what I told him? I can't say this is a lie, and then you try to say, well, you say this right here. I don't know. I don't know what I told him.
Back in 2015,
Yeah, that is what. This is a waste of time. She could just ask the judge to play the video. It's not proper. They need to lay foundation to get him to play it. But at this point, they don't care. Now they're just either stalling. They're making a mockery of justice.
did you tell Detective Thorpe in the same January 11th interview that you get blamed for everything and that your name comes up in everything?
Yes.
Back in January of 2015, did they shoot at your at Deshaun's mother's home the night of the murder?
I don't know if it was the same night, but at one point it was.
And did that shooting prompt you to go speak with Detective Thorpe on the morning of January 11th, 2015?
They called me. I think that's how he was able to get my phone number. But I can't recall if it was or not.
I agree, Patty. This is it's all show. It's a scam.
Were you scared because they were shooting up your family's house back on January 10th, 2015?
What you mean?
Mr. Sharp,
I object to the pronoun they. That's
so vague? Vague? Your objection vague? All right, I'll sustain that.
Were you afraid because your girlfriend's mother's house was being shot up?
What you mean?
Were you afraid because people in your family's homes were being shot up on that back in January 2015? Were you afraid because people's homes were being shot up?
You asking me, was I afraid, or what did I tell the police I was afraid?
I'm asking you now, were you afraid?
This is so stupid.
I was afraid for the people who was in the house.
Good answer.
And do you know who all was in the house? You shook your head, said a no for the
No.
record. Okay.
I don't remember who was in the house.
Now, in that interview, did you give Detective Thorpe the reason why you thought Kel was beefing with you?
I probably did. I don't remember. Which one I supposed to say it?
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that this is all about you not being down with it no more and being down with the gang anymore?
Yes.
Do you recall telling him that it's also because they now think that you're with Thug and that you're claiming YSL?
Yes,
Yes, you remember telling him that?
I guess. If that's what he said, I said.
Do you recall or do you not recall to tell Detective Thorpe that?
I don't know what I done told this man.
Okay. So sitting here now, was the beef because you were no longer down with them and you were down with YSL?
Yes, I guess.
Is it yes or you guess?
If that's what he said,
I'm asking you right now today.
I don't know.
Now, during this interview, do you recall giving Detective Thorpe your Instagram page?
Yes.
And what was the Instagram page that you gave him?
I don't know.
Okay. Was it Woody372?
Yes.
Okay. And 372, does that refer to,
I'll sustain the question.
what is 372?
Numbers.
And does that number specify something specific?
I believe it has. I'm gonna sustain the objection.
Does the 372 correspond to the letters of DRC on the phone pad?
It could. I don't know. I gotta look at the phone pad to see. How do you look at the phone pad to tell?
And is Woody372 the same Instagram account that I asked you about over the course of the last few days?
I guess.
So was that your Instagram account back in 2015?
My Instagram account is Woody versus Woody.
I asked back in
From
2000.
back then, I think my Instagram account is the same account as it is today. Woody versus Woody.
I'm playing.
I'm not 100% sure.
Because
Listen, I done did so much time
we're
away
about 7 minutes
from society.
behind.
You asked me about something. I don't know. I don't know how to answer these questions. I don't really, a lot of this stuff you talk about, I've been through too much to be trying to remember certain stuff or these questions you asking me. Like, you discombobulated me up here. Like, you want me to lie? You want me to tell the truth? I can't tell you the truth. If you sit here, I don't know. I don't know how to answer these questions. I mean, like, I don't know what y'all got going on. Like, for real. Like, you asked me about 2015, what somebody said to the investigators. You know how many investigators tried to question me about this?
Yes, and we're going to talk about a few of them. So do you recall your Instagram being Woody372?
I don't recall.
Bless you.
Course indulgence. Now, Mr. Copeland. Did you speak with Detective Thorpe about your concerns that people from If Gang wanted to kill you and Thug?
Yes.
Do you recall why people wanted to kill you and Thug?
Yes.
Why was that?
Why was what?
Why did people want to kill you and Thug?
Oh, I said it.
Do you recall telling that to Detective Thorpe?
I don't know what I don't remember what I told Detective Thorpe.
I can't play the Benny Hill theme, but I have this.
Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that you heard about a meeting in which an individual named Mo, who was down the road, conducted?
Yes.
And that during the course of that meeting,
I'll sustain the objection.
what do you remember telling Detective Thorpe about your understanding of this meeting with Mo and other members of If Gang?
I don't remember.
Hold on, wait, Mr. Copeland. Basis. I'm gonna overrule your objection, okay?
Okay, let me rephrase. No foundation in my statement that we asked.
I'll sustain that one. I'll sustain that.
What was your understanding of a meeting?
This. See, sorry. Every time he allows the prosecution leeway and to rephrase their objections and to come up with new foundation for objections, he's supposed to be impartial. Look what he just did towards the defense. He overruled that. He didn't say, overruled, but I sustain on other reasons or anything. Luckily, Mr. Shard, oh, it's this one then. Yep, that's the one.
With Mo back in 2015 regarding you and Thug.
I don't know what I told Detective Thorpe.
I sustain the objection.
You need to respond.
Mr. Copeland, you have to answer the question, okay? Not responsive to.
How could I answer the question to something I don't know?
Miss Hilton's gonna, well, actually, just repeat the question, Miss Weaver.
What was your understanding of the meeting with Mo back in 2015 regarding you and Mo?
I don't know nothing about no meeting. I don't know nothing about no meeting.
Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe about this meeting with Mo and that he was supposed to kill you and the young Thug?
I don't remember what I told Detective Thorpe. I'm saying yes to your question because you saying something I said to Detective Thorpe. So I'm saying yes to everything you saying, but I don't know nothing about what I supposed to told Detective Thorpe. So you trying to, I don't know what y'all trying to do. Like,
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that you called other people to confirm whether or not this meeting occurred?
I don't know what I told Detective Thorpe. I don't remember what I told Detective Thorpe. I told you, I thought that once he questioned me, once I came down there, he said, well, you came, you free to go. I don't remember sitting down talking to him.
So you don't remember the interview at all? Or what you said during the interview?
Go ahead.
Like I didn't say that.
So what's your objection, sir? I sustain the objection.
We can move on, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am.
Did you have any issues with Nut?
Wait, who?
With Nut?
What you mean?
Did you have any problems with Nut?
I wouldn't hope not.
Do you recall, you said you hope not. Do you recall sitting here today if you had any issues with Nut?
I don't know.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that you did not have any issues with Nut? As a matter of fact, that you and Nut would see each other and dap each other up?
Yes.
Did you remember telling Detective Thorpe that Nut was somebody that you could talk to?
Don't know nothing about all that.
Okay. Do you remember?
I don't know if yes, I said it to him. I don't know.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that about the last conversation that you had with Nut?
I had a conversation with Nut.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe about a conversation that you had with Nut?
I don't remember what I told Detective Thorpe.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that when you saw Nut, he just told you to chill out and you told him.
Hold on, Mr. Steele's objection. Hearsay? I sustain it. Oh, are you repeating what? Where's that come from, man?
Your Honor, it's going to be a fact of the listener. It's going to be what his response was.
I overrule the objection.
And that you told Nut, I'm just trying to get some money.
Was I supposed to say it to the police?
You told the police
Yes, I said it.
that was your last conversation with Nut.
I guess. Yes. I don't know.
When you say you don't know, what do you mean?
I don't remember what I told any police. I do not remember what I have told them.
And at this point, do you understand that I'm just trying to figure out what it is that you remember and what did you know?
He lost me.
I sustain the question as the form.
Do you recall being concerned that it was a whole gang after you?
You talking to me?
Yes, sir.
You say that again?
Do you recall in 2015 being concerned that there was a whole gang after you?
You said, did I tell that to the police, or you asked me, was I?
I'm asking you, were you concerned that there was a whole gang?
Not even a little bit.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that now these niggas show up at my girl's mama's house and it's the whole gang, it's the whole clique. You know what I'm saying? They deep. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that put fear in my heart. Now I have to watch everywhere I go. I have to watch out. It ain't nothing I can do about it. I didn't have nothing to do with this. I didn't kill him. I ain't never kill. I ain't never try to fight him. I ain't never try to rob him. I've never done nothing to Nut. Do you recall telling the police that?
I guess. I don't remember.
Okay.
We all know it's leading. We all know that judge allows it.
Now, do you know back in 2015 who was beefing with Nut?
How am I supposed to know that?
Do you recall being asked about that in the January 11th, 2015 interview?
I don't remember. No. I don't remember. No. I don't remember. I don't know what. I don't know.
So you're saying you don't remember?
Whatever the detective said, I told him. That's what I told him.
I want to go back to the gambling house for a moment. Do you remember at the gambling house whether or not
Sorry, muted. No matter how much immunity they give him, immunity isn't going to stop a snitch from being ended for snitching alone. I mean, the amount of people snitching on everybody in Fulton County, in that specific area of Atlanta, we heard from so many people that people were snitching all around, and basically nobody got killed. It's almost as if the YSL wasn't a criminal street gang.
vehicles were shot up at the gambling house?
What gambling house?
The gambling house in Lakewood.
What about it?
Do you remember earlier talking about a shooting at that gambling house?
Was I there?
Do you recall telling the detective that you were on this January 11, 2015 interview that you were present at the gambling house when Kel shot up the gambling house?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know if you were there, or you don't know if you told Detective Thorpe?
I don't know. I don't recall nothing about the gambling house.
Do you remember in the January 11, 2015 interview telling Detective Thorpe that he shot everybody's car up? You know what I'm saying? But earlier, but didn't nobody know it was him. And then he got into it with his girl, and she came back and said it was him.
I guess.
You guess, meaning you don't remember that's what you told Detective Thorpe?
I don't remember nothing I told the police.
And then, do you recall to tell Detective Thorpe that Thug wanted Kel to pay for his window that got shot up?
Probably so.
Probably. Or do you remember telling the...
Do you have an objection?
Your Honor, not...
For your objection, sir. No. What's the basis for your objection?
Improper question from a litigant.
I'm gonna-
The court, if you don't think it was asked correct.
I'm gonna rule the objection, sir. I'm gonna rule the objection.
Do you remember if Thug wanted Kel to pay for his window?
Is this what I told the police?
I'm asking you.
I don't know. I don't remember nothing about the gambling house.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that Thug wanted Kel to pay for his window?
I do not remember what I done told the police. I just know.
And do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that Thug said you were going to pay for the window?
I guess.
Does I guess mean you remember telling Detective Thorpe, or you don't remember telling
I
Detective
don't have my whole thing with talking to the detective Thorpe was to get him out my face.
So did you tell things to Detective Thorpe that was a lie to get him out of your face?
I don't know. That's a trick question.
It's whatever honest question answer that you want to give.
Well, I told the detective whatever came to my head to try to get up out of there.
And was whatever came to your head the truth about what happened or not the truth about what happened?
I don't remember what I told him. So I can't say if it was a truth or a lie. I don't remember what I said to the investigator, but I know I don't recall a lot of these things that you're saying. I don't remember.
Okay. Was Nut in the game?
I don't know.
Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that Nut?
I didn't know Nut personally.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that Nut was the big dog, but they big dog, but it ain't they big dog, but he's not over the whole gang, but he's a big dog.
I guess.
I guess.
I don't remember.
All right. Did you and Nut ever talk about Kel and your issues with Kel?
I don't think me and Nut would have been talking.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Thorpe that you and Nut have talked about Kel?
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know what. No, I guess I don't.
So do you remember?
If Thorpe said I said it.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that?
No, I don't remember. I told you that when Detective Thorpe called me down there and tried to question me, I felt like I walked in and walked right back out. I don't remember sitting down talking to him.
Who knows? That might actually be true. He walked in, sat down, and then walked out without saying a word. And the rest is all in the mind of Detective Thorpe. Now, there is probably video of him talking, but who knows? It's amazing how the evidence the state, the prosecution wants to find, it's there, easily there. The evidence that the defense wants can't be found. It's amazing how that can go. Reform convict Thank you for your $5 super chat. Don't forget to go to the TT and get the World Best Steak, sir. I'm told it's well worth any cost. Have a safe trip when you go. Knoxville is close to you. Okay, nice. Yeah. For you who don't know, I'm going across the United States in August. I will be in Houston from August 7 to 11. And then I will go to New Orleans, then I will go up to Atlanta, then up to Knoxville, and then over to Delphi, Indiana, and then up to the Great Lakes. And apparently, the Pink Pony has a good steak. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, yeah, I just don't know if that's for me. Oh, and thank you, Nana Misty, for $5. Detective Thorpe is so crooked that his wee wheel looks around corners. Oh, thank you. I needed that. Oh. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I needed that. I needed that. Thank you so much. Oh.
Now, during the course of this interview, do you remember if they came in and swabbed you for a gunshot?
Thank you so much for your super chats, Nana Misty and Reform Convict. Thank you so much.
Shot residue?
I don't think so. I think I just remember. I remember he was laughing like, "Dang man, the guy ain't even dead long," and everybody already saying you did it. I'm like, I don't know why, and I thought he let me go. I don't remember if he did. I don't remember anything further than I showed him my face and he let me go. So I don't know what. I don't remember what took place that day. To say facts.
As the interview progressed, do you recall giving more details about the night of the murder to Detective Thorpe?
I don't understand what you asked.
Let me just ask you this. On the night of the murder, do you remember if Deshaun went to the movies on the night of the murder?
So much going on. I can't. So much was going on. I was all over the place. I don't remember. I can't say what I can't answer those questions because if I tried to, I'd be lying. I wouldn't. I can't really say.
I understand. Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that Deshaun had went to the movies and at some point you had given her your brother's car to drive?
I probably did.
Now, earlier I asked you about a Camaro following you inside of your apartment complex the night that Nut was killed. So do you remember that occurring?
I don't remember.
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that you turned into Carver Homes off of Pryor Road?
I don't know.
And you saw a Camaro and it was flying behind you?
I don't remember what I told Detective Thorpe again.
And that when you turned left, the Camaro went straight, and instead of going to the front door, you went around to the gate?
I guess.
Do you remember telling him that, or you don't remember?
If he said, I said it.
Do you remember telling him that?
I don't remember having a conversation with him. I don't remember what I was telling him when he questioned me.
So the gate card was to Deshaun's apartment, and you were clicking it, and you couldn't go, so you went around front.
I guess.
Do you remember telling him that, or you don't remember telling him that?
I don't remember.
And that you had your brother to call the police. Do you remember telling him that?
I had my brother to call the police?
Do you remember telling Detective Thorpe that?
I wouldn't know why my brother would be calling the police, but I don't remember if I said it to him. But if he said I said, I probably did.
Do you remember or do you not remember?
I don't remember.
And so you also, do you remember telling him that you saw the Camaro fly to the stop sign and it was going so fast that it missed it, but they turned and left behind? And when they turned left, I was in front of them. Do you remember telling him about the red Camaro doing that?
If a red Camaro followed me and I noticed it, I wasn't gonna let it. I don't remember.
Hey, Ms. Hilton, before we posit more questions, I'm having a good authority when you take a comfort break, okay?
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, given it's so close to the lunchtime hour, how about we just have you come back for 1 o'clock? And then we'll see where the afternoon leads us, okay? All right. All rise.
Okay, but don't leave just yet. I saw that I think Mr. Steele will approach the podium.
Mr. Sharp, you can
Sure.
make your motion, and Mr. Matthews, you can make your motion. And I take it that you are making this on the basis of the witness's testimony as to January the 11th of 2015 in regards to the mentioning of your clients. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Just for the record, it's my objection and my basis for the mistrial is both constitutional Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, which
You're talking about pre-arrest silence?
well, I was going to get to that. There's the constitutional right to remain silent, but also the statutory Georgia
Constitutional
yeah.
privilege? Okay.
well, also the pre-arrest silence
All right.
statutory. And Your Honor, we believe that those questions brought attention to my client's my client exercising those rights, and it was an inappropriate question, and we moved for a mistrial based on the comment on my client's silence.
All right. Ms. Hilton, do you wish to respond to that? And then I'll move on to Mr. Matthews.
I could, you was an individual leader on
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
As relates to Mr. Stillwell, at the time that I'm questioning,
Mr. Copeland.
Mr. Copeland, at the time of January 11, 2015, at that time, Mr. Stillwell was not a suspect in this case, so would not be counted as a pre-arrest silence. Additionally, looking at Dinkins v. State.
Repeat that last thing. Is it Dinkins, you said, v. State?
Dinkins v. State, which is 295 Georgia Act 289, which is the 2008 case. A prosecutor does not impermissibly comment on pre-arrest silence merely by showing that the accused demeanor and conduct during and after the crime, but before an agent of the state questions him and before he knows he's being investigated, were inconsistent with a defense such as coercion or justification.
All right.
Well, the jurors don't know when my client became a suspect or not. So,
Right.
I mean, the effect on the jurors, I don't really see how that's relevant.
And
Okay, well,
cannot further, again, Your Honor, the state's position is we weren't commenting on any of the defendant's sides, but again, to show that Mr. Copeland's demeanor now in court before the
That is so irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant because there are tons and tons and tons of people who change the testimony from an interview specifically 10 years ago to present day because they simply can't remember. That does not give the right to violate the pre-arrest silence. What Mr. Sharp says.
these individuals versus when he was by himself in a interview room solely with the detective, that his answers are much different. And so that is the state's purpose and reason for talking about who was present.
It's not different. You just don't remember. That isn't different. Different would be, I never said that, or I lied then and there.
Present with him in the room when he was conducting his initial interviews in 2015.
In Your Honor, just to respond to that argument, what undermines that argument is my client wasn't present yesterday when Mr. Copeland made it clear to the
What do you mean
prosecutor.
he was in the courtroom here, right?
But no, he wasn't present yesterday in some side room somewhere where several investigators from the DA's office and multiple prosecutors were all in a room talking to Mr. Copeland while he was a sworn witness in this case. And he let the state know that what I said in prior statements were lies. And this is the
you were
truth.
disclosed those particular
I
statements.
was disclosed
Okay,
those
I just want to make sure. Okay,
last
all right.
night.
Okay.
But
And before he testified this morning, correct?
yeah, last night.
Okay. All right.
And so, but the argument that, oh, he's changing his story because he's in front of Mr. Stillwell. Not only is there no evidence that Mr. Stillwell has ever threatened Mr. Copeland or Mr. Copeland is in any way scared of Mr. Stillwell, or any of these other gentlemen, but also the fact that it was disclosed yesterday to the state with none of these gentlemen present undermines their argument that that's the reason for asking that question.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. I'm still going to deny your motion for mistrial. And I'll note that you asked, as I said before, that you posited before the next question was asked. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Matthews, Senior.
Your Honor, as it relates to Mr. Marquavius Huey, our motion for mistrial is based upon the sworn testimony that has already come out from Mr. Copeland on yesterday. Mr. Copeland stated that he had met Mr. Huey in 2021. He had indicated that he had met him in 2015, didn't know him in 2015 or anything of that nature. So it's a bad question that was asked in terms of whether or not Quay was there back in 2015. So that's the first point. He did not know Mr. Huey in 2015. Secondly, Your Honor, that places it's a bad faith question. It places Mr. Huey's character in issue, and there's no basis. There's just no basis for that question to be asked. And because of those reasons, Your Honor, we were respectfully asked this court to grant a mistrial as it relates to Mr. Huey based upon those natures. There's just no good basis for that question to be asked. When the witness had testified on yesterday, not to be repetitive, but he testified yesterday, he didn't even know my guy in 2015. So how could he have been there in 2015, or did he show up there at the interview with Detective Thorpe in January of 2015?
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, Ms. Hilton.
Your Honor, the question was a good faith basis. If you can recall, yesterday, the state asked Mr. Copeland if he knew a number of these defendants. And so what the state did in order to perfect what occurred is asked about every single defendant that Mr. Copeland said he viewed in this courtroom, regardless of time, so that the jurors knew that none of these individuals were present with him at the time. Now, if Mr. Matthews wants to argue at closing argument that was the state shouldn't have asked that because Mr. Huey, he didn't know him, then that's a question for argument, but not a question for a mistrial, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to overrule your objection, Mr. Matthews, and I'll also note on your behalf, on your client's behalf, Mr. Huey, that you have paused the next question before, made another motion before we paused the next question.
And
All right.
one more thing, just to add to the record, Your Honor. And while I knew that the answer was no, the jury did not. And so we had to pose that question. And there's the one additional thing I want to put on the record.
That is a blatant lie, because they have been told he didn't meet Mr. Huey in 2015. That is a blatant lie, Ms. Hilton. When you say that the jury didn't know, they did, because they heard from Mr. Copeland that he never met Mr. Huey in 2015. That means it's not a good faith basis. That's a bad faith basis. But as we see throughout this day, they don't care anymore. She can make the most ridiculous argument towards the judge, as she does, lying to his face, and he will still go on the prosecution's path.
Record after the close of this hearing, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else in regards to mistrial? All right. Ms. Hilton, what else?
Your Honor, as Mr. Shard just disclosed, the state turned over yesterday an email to all defense counsel regarding our interaction with Mr. Copeland on yesterday in the afternoon. I know Mr. Shard just said that, he was a sworn witness and we were speaking with him in a room without any of the defendants present. The statement from Mr. Copeland was a sua sponte question to us.
No. Oh, the sua sponte. That means he voluntarily revealed this information. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Not after the secret ex parte meeting where you where the judge threatened to keep him in prison up 10 years or more, or in jail for 10 years or more. Then it's no longer him voluntarily revealing information. That is him being coerced into revealing information, which should make it inadmissible. You lying sack of shits.
Response to us as we were talking in the room yesterday, and that is why we immediately disclosed that information to defense counsel.
Joel, thank you. Says Nick, I just needed to know you're the only reason I can handle this trial. Thank you. And right back at you. You, the other viewers, if you weren't here, because when I started covering this trial, I had streams with a total of maybe 100 people over a 2-hour period. Yesterday, I think that stream is at, hold on while I check, 26,000. And now today, a little slower because yesterday was huge news. And I understand the numbers for huge news. Now we're back, but we are still at between 50, with replay crew and everything, this stream will reach 1,500, 2,000 views. And that is amazing. And that is all thanks to you because you keep showing up, validating me and my content and my spicy words. So thank you right back. Thank you right back.
But in addition to what we disclosed yesterday, Your Honor, the state also disclosed on Thursday, June 6th, as well as on Monday, June 10th, some additional information that Mr. Copeland has disclosed to us over the last few days. And so we have a copy of that email. We want to put it in the record, Your Honor. And we're going to mark it 3-4.
Oh, this is damage control. Now they are trickle-truthing to the defense. This is, and I heard this on Danny Ann's stream yesterday, which is really good. I also saw it on the Twitters. Judge Glanville and the prosecution are acting like cheaters, like adulterers who's been caught. It's not, oh, damn, I did wrong. It's, how did you find out? And then it's damage control and trickle-truthing and gaslighting. These people, the prosecution and Judge Glanville, are behaving like adulterers who got caught. And I completely agree. I completely agree. This is so bad.
100 Yankee.
All right. Okay. All right, councils, enjoy your, sorry.
I would like the court to look into the appropriateness. Mr. Copeland, to my observations around your courtroom, outside your courtroom on breaks, is surrounded by several members of law enforcement with the district attorney's office and prosecutors, potentially other persons. I don't know why a sitting witness under oath is in a room with prosecutors during breaks, mornings, afternoons. It's totally inappropriate. There are people who are in your court's door. There's a double door where the court sits to its right that aligns with the witness chair. And I noticed people standing there in law enforcement while Mr. Copeland is testifying. He's making eye contact with them. I don't know if they're his brother. My point to you is this: what gives anybody the right to surround a witness? He's not in custody, and bring a witness. I'm sure Mr. Copeland didn't say to the prosecutors, I don't know this, Your Honor. So if you think I'm wrong, then just strike it from your memory. But I'm sure he didn't say, hey, you guys want to hang out in this room a little while? So I believe that he is being led on a tether by the prosecutors, and it is coercion. It is inappropriate. And why would anybody not be recording everything he said? And why do I have to get it in drips and drabs?
That's an excellent point. He's surrounded by prosecutors and law enforcement, and not one are recording his statements. Isn't that strange?
So I am objecting to the tactics of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office and whomever else they may have employed with a citizen, regardless of what the court may think of him or the prosecutors think.
I don't have any thoughts. So please don't put that in. Please don't put that in in the ether. Okay, but that's what you just said, sir.
The ether is
okay.
Clear. The court wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it either. So why is it happening? He's a.
See, I have no interest other than I'm a referee.
Well, you're the referee who spoke with the witness without my presence.
Mr. Steele, we're not gonna get into that right now.
Well,
okay?
my point is, how is he being treated here? And why don't I have all this? And why is this going on? What an unfair trial for Mr. Williams. Think about it. If you were accused, Your Honor, and the judge met with this witness, with the prosecutor, and you sat next to me and Mr. Adams, you would say to us, what kind of case is this? Now he's being surrounded with all this law enforcement. My point is,
Your Honor, we're going to object that this.
I'm not going to be interrupted.
Mr. Steele, hold on. No, but you're Mr. Steele? Mr. Steele?
Yes, sir. What?
Okay.
I want to finish. I'm making a record for the court to understand.
Well, Mr. Steele.
I've never been interrupted in a court except for this one. You allow.
Well, you know, but the challenge is in this point in time is that some of the things that you have said at certain points in time are not appropriate.
It's not true.
Okay, well, that's it.
Judge Glanville, you are not. We have seen trials with sovereign citizens. We have seen trials with absolute jackasses. And the judge sits there calmly, let them speak, and then explains why, where, when this is wrong. This judge is so inappropriate. And I've said it a lot of times. I will say it again. The only time from Monday going forward, Judge Glanville should be allowed inside the courtroom is if he is the defendant.
That's the court's.
Court is wrong.
Well, you know, you have, everybody has an opinion, and it can certainly be reviewed at the appropriate time. But finish up so you can go ahead and make your record.
Interrupt anyone by a prosecutor or anyone. This is a record. This is important.
Okay, but it's your allegation and assertion, sir. Okay, so. Well, we don't know that. We don't know whether or not they're true.
What's going on? Every time Mr. Copeland comes in the courtroom or out of the courtroom, he's escorted by a DA's office investigator. You see that? This court is observant. You're not just sitting there in a cloud. You see exactly what's going on. You hear the prosecutor tell you, we were in a room with Mr. Copeland and he said these things. Why?
Okay.
Why do I have to bring up? You should be bringing it up. This is crazy. This is like communist Russia. Mr. Williams is having the worst trial. So I am moving.
A few streams ago, I made that comparison. I'm taking yeah. I'm saying it. That Mr. Steele got from me. And nobody can tell me I'm wrong.
Moving again to stop intimidating the witness by the prosecution, leave people alone, and stop accusing. You've allowed the prosecutor Love to accuse me of misconduct.
Oh, but you've also accused her of hold on. You have accused her of misconduct as well. And remember.
We remember. I remember. She lied to your face and you just swallowed and asked for more and then did nothing.
What I told you about your professional response. Remember what I told you about your, and she's going to take me down as opposed to you. So when I start talking, stop talking, please. Okay? I'll let you complete your record.
I
Okay?
understand the one party talking. I got it.
All right. Okay. All right. So I told you, several times before, I told you and your colleagues, remember your professional responsibility and let's not make this an ad hominem issue. I don't believe that either one of you are trying to do anything that would subvert your ability to practice law. So,
Oh, fuck you, Judge Glanville. You know exactly what you're doing wrong. You know exactly what the prosecution is doing wrong, and you are actively helping them covering it up. You corrupt son of a bitch.
I mean, but
Ms. Love has intentionally lied to the court numerous cases. You do nothing.
hold on. Let him finish. See, this is Mr. Steele. This is exactly what I'm saying. You cannot. It is not a good idea to state that your brethren across the bar are lying. Okay, in any time or any way.
I don't like doing it.
Okay, but don't. So don't. But don't because you don't because you don't have any proof.
I know.
If you have proof of it, then if you have proof, there's a mechanism in law and under the rules for you to submit that question to the Office of General Counsel and for the investigation to occur. But please stop, both of you. I've told both of you earlier, stop making these ad hominem attacks toward one another. Okay?
Everyone gets attacked. You say nothing.
Well, okay, but I've said something. You're going back to stuff that's happened in the past. So while I'm trying to deal with things that are current, so I've told you all most recently, as of about a week or so ago, to stop all this. Remember, I told you the world's watching you. They are. So please.
The world is watching you, Judge Glanville. Your misconduct, your bias, the absolute fustercluck of a trial you're running. You are completely unfit for that position. We don't blame Mr. Steele. We blame you for allowing Miss Love, Miss Hilton, and the rest of the whatever gang to continue to lie to the court, to cheat. Misconduct. This is criminal activity you are allowing in your courtroom, Glanville. That is why the world is watching, because of your absolute incompetence.
Please don't from this point on, do not accuse each other of anything. If you want to go ahead and do it, there's a proper way to do it, but don't bring it up in front of me. Okay?
I'm just making a point that this has been going on and it's abusive. That is my point.
That's your assertion, sir, as a lawyer, okay? And maybe your frustration with everything. Like I told you, this trial's gone a long time. There's a lot.
Oh, you absolute fucktwat. Now this, folks, this is gaslighting. What you're seeing here is proper gaslighting. Now he's blaming Mr. Steele. He is the one being abused by the prosecution and by Glanville. He is the victim of abuse here. And you, the abusers, are blaming him. You are saying, oh, it's the stress, oh, it's the long trial, or it's this. That is gaslighting. Judge Glanville, I pity the people around you if that is how you behave at home.
There's a lot of wear and tear, but everybody's got to rise above and be a professional advocate. That's what the system demands of you.
I'm not worn or torn. I am here to tell the court that from a objective, casual observer, could see what's going on here is inappropriate.
Okay. At the end of the day, I understand your concern that you have now shared with the court. Okay? All right, State, you want to respond?
Your Honor, I just asked that the court strike the portions of Mr. Steele's, whatever that was, to the court regarding.
You do not have the right. That was Mr. Steele making statements to the record. You do not. Jesus Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, Satan's whore, soulless Miss Love, with a hole so empty, she has an echo inside where her soul should be. And now she is there to continue the abuse, gaslighting. We all see what's going on. Yes, paradox true. We all see what's going on. This is insane.
Regarding personal and ad hominem attacks on members of the state's team. Ms. Hilton will address the merits of the initial argument that Mr. Steele made. But as to personal attacks on members of the state's team, we'd ask that assertions that specific people
Yeah, I can kiss the monetization of this stream goodbye.
have lied. That is disrespectful. That is unprofessional. And not one time has any such statement been made by any member of this team about anyone else.
Oh, I think Ms. Love in the past, you've made some
I
statements.
have never
about
said
me.
anyone lied.
You made some statements about Mr. Steele and
Your
about,
Honor.
well, just let me finish. I'm not done. All right. And about several others of your colleagues. I mean, and it may have been the heat of discussion and everything else. Like I said earlier, there's enough blame to go around for everybody. All right. So, but
no, there isn't. There's just enough blame to put on you, Judge Glanville, for conducting this absolute clusterfuck, to Ms. Love for her absolute corrupt being, and for the rest of the prosecution team. There isn't enough blame towards the defense. They are zealously defending their clients against a corrupt court.
can we kind of stop that and draw things kind of forward? I've had 2 or 3 conversations with everyone about their obligations as professional advocates under the rules, okay? And that while the court certainly agrees that ad hominem attacks are not, they don't make anybody look any good. They really don't. I mean, but I'm just saying I acknowledge that. I acknowledge what's been gone on in the past. So, and I ask that you all reflect upon that because, like I said, you can't say some of the stuff that people say to one another can't be taken back. They just can't. So,
and it shouldn't. From the defense towards you, Judge Glanville, you corrupt son of a bitch, through soulless Satan's whore, Miss Love. I don't want to. I could walk into that courtroom at this very moment and call Miss Love a soulless whore. I could call Mr. Glanville a corrupt judge to his face. No, I'm not. My monetization is not green.
and that's just something that the court would just have you reflect upon.
Thank you,
Both
Judge.
sides, okay?
And we just ask again that statements like Miss Love lied be stricken from the record. Those are
You did lie, provably. You went up to the judge and lied about the contents of a video in order for him to take a second look at it. You know you lied.
personal attacks. There's none been made, at least not this day.
I'm not gonna consider your ad hominem attacks. Either one is, okay?
Thank you.
Or anybody's, all right? Okay. All right, madam.
Yeah, Ms.
Your Honor,
Hilton.
regarding Mr.
Why are you surrounding a sworn-in witness with law enforcement and prosecutors?
Steele's assertions of our interactions with Mr. Copeland We have not treated Mr. Copeland any different than we would treat any of our other witnesses.
That's not a defense. That only shows that you are actually intimidating all your witnesses, not just this one.
In the state of Georgia, he is our witness. If he wants to be around us, he can. If he chooses not to, he doesn't have to be. The fact that he's saying we are coercing Mr. Copeland to speak is clearly not true, given Mr. Copeland's testimony here today. If we were coercing him to speak, he would answer my questions and I would not have to sit here and go in the back and forth and struggle with him. So clearly we are not being influential on Mr. Copeland, given our interactions with him outside of the courtroom. So again, Your Honor, there's nothing inappropriate about the state's interactions with Mr. Copeland. He is the state's witness. We can't interact. We have not influenced any of his testimony, Your Honor. And so we ask that, I don't know if it was a motion, be denied that was what was being asked of the court.
All right, I'll include the state's exhibit 400, the statements of the most recent email that you have disclosed to the defense in this case.
I think this is 1.5.
For purposes of the record. And I will also, to the extent that I don't think of Mr. Steele, let me just make sure. Are you again moving for mistrial, or did you make within your statement, did you ask the court for a mistrial?
Yes, it's on totality of what I said. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to deny that motion, and I will also note for the record that it was that the same was positive for the next question. Okay. All right, Mr. Matthews, you eat up your lunch. Okay, so.
I just want to put on the record that based upon my vantage point in the courtroom, I have a unique place where I'm able to see the jury, I'm able to see the witness, and I'm also able to see the vestibule out here. And on yesterday, I just want to be clear that it's not only observed back here, but I have a unique place, and I observe a very large individual standing outside of that door, those two doors, staring at the witness during this testimony.
I know it's a large individual too. There's plenty of large individuals. They're law enforcement, or we don't know, but well, who is it? What's their name? Okay, well then we don't know it's law enforcement. But I have the same or better vantage. I have the same or better vantage than you do, and I certainly, think that for reasons that we don't know, that law enforcement stand in that door for security posture, and that's the only reason that they're at that door.
That doesn't give them the right to stare at the witness.
I understand. Just putting on the record.
Okay, well, when this is reviewed, and the court's going to look at what the court saw as well. So if you're thinking that there's intimidation or otherwise, I'm telling you, and I'm putting on the record for purposes of the record, that there are many law enforcement that sit in both doors of this courtroom for that reason and that reason only. And unless you can tell me who specifically was standing out there, as you say, and Mr. Steele said, looking at our witness, Mr. Copeland, then I don't see that. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bill.
All right.
Briefly, Your Honor, since no one wants to go to lunch with me, I saw the same thing that Mr. Matthews saw yesterday, the large individual.
How did you see him? Your back's to the door.
Are you questioning whether I saw him or not?
I'm asking how you saw it.
I turned around and saw him.
Okay. All right.
And because that we've seen people outside that door for 18 months, Your Honor. This person yesterday was glaring through that glass for at least 10 to 15 minutes that I noticed, boring a hole into the witness. So I just want to add that is what I saw. I don't know his name. I don't know if it was law enforcement. I believe it was. I have not seen any other individual with law enforcement do that to that witness or any other witness during the course of the trial.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, this, just so that the record is clear, could they give more detail, because there's no member of the state that fits that?
Yeah, I don't need.
And I
He
have
was
no
a
idea
gentleman
what
yesterday
that was.
dressed in black or dark clothing. That's what I saw.
Also, yes, Your Honor, and I don't know, we don't know who.
That was probably Miss Love in a wig. A very, very large individual staring at the witness.
Who they're talking about, what they're talking about, literally no idea. So the idea, this insertion into the record of the insinuation that someone is intimidating anyone.
I'll also ask Captain Kendall to ensure that only law enforcement are allowed back.
Why is the prosecution talking against the defense here? They should be equally interested in who is doing that, because they definitely don't want anybody intimidating their witness. but they are. That tells me they probably know who it is.
They're in the vestibule, so that that if there's any issue with anybody looking in the courtroom, that is removed. So, all right,
Thank you.
all right.
This is an easy one.
And it can't be me because I'm not there yet. And I certainly wouldn't stare through the window. I would try to take a seat in the courtroom and keeping notes. For you who are completely new here, hi, I'm Nick. I'm the Nick on LawTube that currently doesn't face any charges. And I'm just under 6'4" and around 270 pounds. I'm considered by most country standard a large man.
I don't know whether this is something the court can give instruction in regards to, other folks can just take notice of it. We've had some discussions before about the configuration of the courtroom. There's a lot of folks in here. We've got jurors who are sitting right there on the front row who are closer than they would normally be to the parties in this case. I've noticed over the course of the last number of weeks and months, quite frankly, and I'd like the court to either remind the state, or maybe because it could be inadvertent, but maybe they can take note themselves of the fact that sometimes their facial expressions, their reactions, their statements to each other, their conversations to each other are done so close in the presence of the jury that it can't help but impact the jury. There was one time last week where Ms. Hilton was attempting to introduce a document, and there was some frustration because there's an objection, and Ms. Love reached over and says, and I could hear it from over there, just show them the original, just show them the original. And you know, those type of conversations, and you know, when someone's upset with a ruling and roll their eyes or makes a facial expression or throws up their hands in front of the jury, 2 or 3 feet away from the jury, can't help but impact the jury. And so if the court needs to just remind the parties that that we've got a jury that can be impacted and they need to be a little bit more circumspect, they can do that. Or perhaps my colleagues across the aisle can take note of that themselves and act accordingly.
All right, sir. Yeah, there's not a lot of room, and I wish you'd have brought this up earlier, but I certainly agree with that. I'd advise all counsel to just be mindful of their reactions as the jurors watch everything. Okay. All right.
Judge, you are there. You see all of this, and you are taking it up to the defense to bring it up. And you, at the same time, you said you noticed. If you noticed, it's your damn responsibility to act.
Mr. Short, do you have anything else? I know that.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Enjoy your lunch. We'll see y'all back about 1 o'clock. Okay. All right. We're in recess.
Yeah, folks. Okay. Oh. So this is why I normally do recaps, because I could have done 10 minutes of I could have done 10 minutes of Copeland's, I don't know, and then we could have focused on this. But here we are. Okay, it did become interesting in the end. It really did. And with that, as per usual, I have some work to do, and then I have to go to bed because I have an early morning tomorrow. It's Friday. I will do recap of the afternoon, unless something equally interesting happens. Then I will go directly live. So Mr. Jingles is not here. Not anywhere close, at least. Sorry, Ghost. I know you want to see Mr. Jingles at every stream, but not this one. Maybe tomorrow. I will see you all back here tomorrow morning around, I want to say, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we will do recap and then see what's going on Friday's Young Thug trial. Later on Friday is the casual stream. We will watch Sovereign Citizens and having the drink of our choice. I might have a beer or two. And with some luck, you might This depends on you, actually. This depends on you. We might have a guest appearance by the Wheel of Regrets, where you buy super chats, PayPal, memberships, every $50, I will spin the wheel, and whatever the wheel stops on, I will do. So if this was tomorrow, I would have taken some habanero sauce, and you can watch me suffer. And that is why this is called the Wheel of Regrets. But that is for tomorrow afternoon your time, tomorrow evening my time. Okay? So, yeah. Everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Hug your family. Unless your family is crap, then screw them and hug the people who deserve it. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
In the courthouse where time stood still, generations pass on the hill. Prosecutors come and go, defense attorneys putting on a show. Old district attorney thought she was tight, came in to visit her tonight. They said justice was blinded by her sins. As the trial spun, no one wins. Endless trial like a river flows. Truth and lies, nobody knows. Corruption's grip tight as a vice. In this endless trial we pay the price.